Hello, thank you very much for watching. Well, I've come up the River Severn to Worcester, and today it's time to climb the Malvern Hills. Before that, I have a long and slow journey against the flow of the River Severn. And to be completely honest, it's like wading through treacle. Hence why Alice is really having to use all of her 42 horsepower. The flow is against me, and it's going to be like this all day. There's going to be a lot of us fitting inside the lock at Tewkesbury. There's a large wide beam ahead of me. There's obviously me and 3 cruisers behind me, so we will all get in easy peasy, but it's going to be a bit of a squeeze. The lockkeeper is shimmying everyone along and trying to squeeze us all in. Even though that lock has like a large diamond area, the lockkeeper wanted us all in the straight part, because apparently the diamond area has quite angled sides, and when the lock fills up or empties, it can strand people on the sides. So we were all squashed up in the straight bit at the front. It was quite tough not to allow your boat to bash into the other boats. I was holding onto my centre line, and the cruiser boat behind me was sort of shimmying back and forth, but it was fine. The lock didn't need to fill up very much, and it was nice and slow. Just round the corner from Upper Load Lock is the section where you can go over to Tewkesbury and join the River Avon. I did the River Avon a couple of years ago. Really nice river, very picturesque, and I did it in really nice weather as well. Three cruisers are quite close together behind me, so in a mo, when I can see straight ahead and there's no other boats coming, I'll slow down and let them all pass. A couple of videos ago, I had a lot of comments about why on earth narrowboaters or other boaters don't say hello to each other, and they don't even acknowledge each other. We do, of course we do. Basically, let me explain the logistics. My camera that you're seeing is 60 foot ahead of me, and the stern of the next boat could be anything up to 70 foot ahead of that. So that's 130 foot away. Now when you're walking in a park or along a road, you don't normally say hello to people 130 foot in the distance. You usually say within sort of 3 or 4 foot, morning, hello, talk about the weather. And that's exactly the same as on a boat. We will pass each other, their stern will meet my stern, and I will be within a couple of feet away from them. And that's usually when we start gossiping and talking about if we've left a lock open for them, or if there's any obstacles in the water, or just a basic hello, good morning, or isn't the weather nice? We do talk to each other, don't worry. We're not all obnoxious loners, they're all with grumpy faces on. It's just the fact that there's 130 feet difference, that's all. Well, I've just stopped off at Upton upon Severn just for a bit of lunch, and I walked around the village here. There's a number of pubs, a little shop, there's a chemist, that sort of thing. Lots of mooring, although I think they probably get quite full later in the day. Just be aware of the mooring just before the bridge. There's a great big piece of metal, it looks like some sort of metal fencing or something that's fallen into the water, so I merrily drove on in and went whoop over the top of it. But anyway, being a flat bottom boat, you can do that sort of thing. As you travel up the River Severn, to the west are the Malvern Hills. They dominate the landscape, and the 8-mile range of hills cross into Worcestershire, Herefordshire and Gloucestershire. The highest point is the Worcestershire Beacon at 425 metres above sea level. She's loving it already, and we haven't even started climbing properly yet. Once you get up here, it's okay. There are steep bits though.
are springs all around the hills, and rainwater slowly permeates through the granite and limestone, producing natural spring water. It was bottled on an industrial scale under the Schweppes brand between 1850 and 2010, and the well is believed to be the oldest bottling plant in the world. Malvern water has been the choice of the royal family for more than 400 years, and the current Queen Elizabeth II orders gallons of it whenever she goes abroad. Despite Coca-Cola Enterprises closing their water plant here nearly a decade ago, it's still bottled on a smaller scale by the family-owned Holywell Water Company. The afternoon had gone really quickly as I travelled next to viewers Kerry and Lee on their boat Swallows and Amazons, the name of my favourite book as a child. They needed water and there are no points on the river itself, so they had to go up into Diglis Basin. The city of Worcester has all the normal facilities, and despite me walking across the race ground to pay for mooring, the ticket machines were out of order and the pay by mobile option didn't recognise my boat as a vehicle registration. Funny that. Of course, after a hearty walk around the county, there's nothing better than some hot soup, a crusty roll and a splash of Worcestershire sauce. John Wheely Lee and William Henry Perrins were chemists within Worcestershire in the first half of the 19th century. They created this fermented liquid condiment, and they went on to form the company Lee and Perrins. Worcestershire sauce is often used to enhance food and cocktail recipes, as well as directly on steaks, hamburgers and fish.
We're not so crammed in today. I'm only sharing the lock with a swan and a duck. Just coming up to Stourport on Severn, and this is the very last stretch of the River Severn. Beautiful river, really wide, quite slow going north, but I am looking forward to getting back onto a narrow canal. So I'm finally up at Stourport on Severn, and I'm going to use my windlass, which I haven't used for well over a month, and prepare this lock. There's a landing here just before the lock, and there's no one around. Last time I came through here it was packed full of lots and lots of people, so right, let me do this properly because it's a staircase lock. I'm going to read the instructions and do it correctly. I may be in luck today. It looks like there might be a lock keeper on duty, so he can help me get through these locks. Right, this is going to be interesting, because the very nose of Alice is almost across the front of the lock, so I need to really push the stern out so we can take the corner. That's really annoying. Just as I was climbing out of this lock to close this gate, I knocked the windlass off the top of the locker down into the bottom of the lock. Now normally a lot of windlasses are steel, so I'd be able to use a magnet, but stupidly I purchased a windlass that was lightweight, which is aluminium, and of course I can't get it, so it'll sit at the bottom of the lock forevermore now. I know what I'm buying at the chandlery anyway. Right, this next bit is horrible because the locks aren't aligned, so I've got to go across a small pound and over. Luckily there's no wind, but it's always a challenge. I had multiple goes at getting into this lock from the top one, so let's see if I can get into that one in one go. I probably won't be able to, but still we'll have a go. Well, that was rather embarrassing. It looked like I was on course to just nudge in and turn Alice in, but it's difficult to judge the front of the boat. And of course I bashed into the wall and made a right fool of myself, but anyway, I'm in the lock now, and there's two lock keepers helping, so I'm just staying on board and they'll get me up through underneath bridge number 2 into the last lock here. But I did really well on the first one and appallingly badly on the second one. Oh well. And once again I'm up on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal. It's been a really long day today, battling against the flow of the River Severn, but I'm up through Stourport on Severn. I filled it with fuel, I've changed the gas bottle, I filled up water, emptied the bins, emptied my Elsan, So I'm really rocking and rolling, and I'm good to go. Now up ahead on the right, I know there's a couple of special people that have moored up. We've been communicating all day of where we are, and hopefully I will meet up with them shortly.
Before I go, I'd like to thank Mark Webber from Seattle in Washington, United States, for his Patreon support. Thanks, Mark. Until next time, see you later.